Hey everyone, it's redonkulously today with my video on the Happy Hamlet. So let's get started. To begin with, I'd recommend dropping on one of these three buildings, this triangular one, since there's three chest spawns on different elevations, and then this red building with the quad and hoverboard spawns, or this blue building. They're all individually pretty stacked, and to learn this spot you kind of need to just go into a playground and walk around, because if you are just going to play games, it can be really disorienting if you don't really know the layout, especially when you first start landing here. During your drop phase, you want to try to land at the bottom of the building so that you can get the quickest access to like the chest here, for example, or the chest here, as well as making sure to one-shot everything that you can, since these give like 10 or 8 wood each, which is pretty decent. Similarly, these give like 5, 6 metal each, just making sure that you have enough mats to get through the early game, since you can really easily farm while you're moving up and down the buildings. Also, you should be moving like left and right through the building so that you can figure out the most efficient way to hit as many chests and floor loots as you can. Also, while you're looting, it's really important to try to be cognizant of where the enemy is by making sure you check through windows and seeing if you can get any sort of hint towards where their position is. This will greatly help you determine where they are if you decide you want to fight, or if you're trying to pinpoint where each of the duos is rotating, so that you can be less caught off guard when the fight eventually does break out. In general, I believe that this south side is a little bit more stacked than this top side, or at least it's easier to get the chests here, so I'd recommend, if you guys are a duo, to try to control this area more so than over here. As for the pros and cons, there's obviously a bunch of vehicle spawns. There's 4 hovers here, 2 quads, and then I believe another hover here, so it's almost guaranteed that you're going to be able to make it out, even though it is edge of zone. If you guys are unlucky, then there's also zip lines like here, which can take you pretty far and then eventually to the slipstream. Or you can see if there's baller spawns that other players didn't get. Speaking of baller spawns, if you guys are going to get contested and you notice that no one goes for the ballers, then it's honestly better just to like loot these cabins. There's also 3 vending machine spawns, one over here, one underneath this house, and then one over here. You can get max brick and max metal. Metal's kind of difficult to get, but you really just need to you just need to hit it whenever you come across it. There's metal in this shop, I believe, in this shop maybe, and then this building over here has a lot on the upper and lower floors. And then there's some in like an architect building over here, I believe. So yeah, just knowing where the metal is will allow you to leave with max metal, because if you're just going to hit the cars, then you're not going to be able to get it. Last pro is the sheer amount of chest spawns. So with the vendings and the amount of chests, it's honestly pretty likely that you'll come out of here with like a rift or a launch pad at least. As for what's pretty average about this spot, there's a campfire here, there's a campfire here, and then there's a campfire here, as well as one over here. So even though the campfires aren't in Happy Hamlet itself, there are ones nearby that you can hit if you need to, just for like free HP. Also, like I was saying earlier, it's possible that the team won't land here and you'll just get the ballers for free. So as for what's kind of bad about this spot, I would say the surrounding loot isn't too great, since if you're looting Happy, you generally won't have time to loot all this, or if there's a baller team, of course they'll take this, but with the amount of loot in Happy, it's very unlikely that you'll need extra loot to begin with. Furthermore, the ballers here will take any other loot that you think about getting on this other side of the map. Obviously, since there's a bunch of ball spawns, like 5 here and 4 here, it's possible that they'll third party you guys if they hear you fighting long enough. It's not the most likely thing that could happen, since ballers will tend to move away from their initial location towards where they're looting. So if you guys are fighting later, then it's possible that they won't third party. And then also the fact that it's edge of map, which is negated by the amount of vehicle spawns and the zip lines like I was mentioning, but still you won't have as much time to loot with the storm closing in faster. Some tips I have for fighting is to prioritize some kind of utility in the early game, since a lot of the fighting, if you engage first, will be done on a player in a house. Then, for example, stinks or dynamites are really effective for pretty much trapping your opponent, since it's really hard to move in such a congested area. Also, you should try to take clock towers during fights whenever you guys are pushing towards the enemy team, since this is a point of natural high ground, so you can really easily control a good section of Happy Hamlet with it. Well, honestly, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe.